This video will be on the urogenital system, but first let's review the urinary system first. So we know the descending aorta brings blood to the kidney via the renal artery. So that'll be right there. So we know this is the descending aorta. It's going to bring blood in this direction. Again, let me orient ourselves. Here is our left kidney. Here would be the right kidney. So left kidney is here. And this would be a right renal artery, like so. To get urine to the bladder, we have the ureter, which goes like so. So here this would be the urinary bladder. These guys here are the ureters, one on each side. After the bladder, next comes the urethra. And then finally we have, exit to the outside, to the environment. Now let's review some arteries that will help us find things for today's labs. But not all the arteries, just the ones near the pelvis region. Now it looks a bit like this, two forks in the road. Again, this is the descending aorta. This is the pig's right side. This is the pig's left side. Now these arteries are all near this part of the bone called the iliac crest and the ilium. So we call these arteries the iliac arteries. And the ones on the outside are given the extra name external. So this first one on the left is called the right external iliac artery. That's it right there. This one here would be the right internal iliac artery. And the same naming scheme goes for these other two. For the fetal pig, if you extend these arteries, we're going to pass a new structure. This little pouch here. This pouch is the urinary bladder. And now we give these arteries a new name once they're flanking the urinary bladder. So now we can call these umbilical arteries. So this would be the left umbilical artery. This here would be the right umbilical artery. And then if you look up here, what's connected to our bladder are the two ureters. So I should expect to have, two ureters entering the bladder. So here are my ureters. So now we've overlaid these two systems. So here are my ureters. Okay. So let's first discuss the female urogenital system first. And we're going to take a sideways view of what we drew up here. So here is my bladder, but kind of pulled to the side, which you can do with your specimen. There's my bladder. We know these two new arteries that flank the bladder on both sides. So always flanked on both sides by the umbilical arteries. And we also know we have two ureters going in. And then from before, after the bladder, we have the urethra. So I have here umbilical arteries in red. This green pouch is the bladder, and these brownish lines are the ureter. Now this is the urethra. And I told you before, after the urethra comes the exit, which is still true, but there is, some things we need to consider. So yes, this is still the exit to the outside world for the urinary part at least. For the genital part, we have to mention a few new structures. So this second pathway is going to come up a bit, and we're going to start to see, in this area, a bean-shaped structure. There's going to be one on each side, like so. And they're going to be attached to this, noodle-shaped organ. At the center of this noodle shape is going to be where this all converges. So this here is the ovaries, actually. So this one is the right ovary. Oops. This one is the right ovary. And this here is going to be the left. Oops, I messed that up. I messed this up. This should be right, and this should be left. This here is a pig's left ovary. This is going to be the pig's right ovary. Right here. Now this noodle-shaped structure, it's not found in humans. These are called uterine horns. This would be the left horn in the left side, and this would be the right uterine horn. So let's explain why humans or human females don't have this. This extra stringy space, it allows pigs to have multiple offspring. As humans, we can have maybe 1, 2, up to 3 offsprings. So this allows pigs to have space for multiple offsprings. So give pigs space for multiple offspring. When these two horns converge, so approximately this area, now we can call this, the common uterus, or just call it the uterus. A little bit under this uterus region, we can call this the cervix, and a little bit under that, we can call this the vagina. Okay, now this area where the two forks combine, so it's going to have, part urinary, part genital part. So we give this name urogenital sinus. Sinus just means a cavity. A urogenital cavity, urogenital sinus. Now this opening here, where both of these paths exit from, we call this the urogenital opening. Urogenital opening. Okay, now for an external view of all that. First I'm going to draw, a very crude diagram of a pig. It has its tail, has its legs like so, and it has its head. Okay, this is the ventral side of the pig. This is dorsal. This is the anterior side, and this is posterior. Okay, first thing to notice is we have our tail right there. The first exit after the tail, this is the female pig's anus. The next hole after that, this is going to be your urogenital opening. And covering this is this, triangular fleshy tissue called the urogenital papilla. Urogenital papilla. And this is it for female. Now on to the male urogenital system. But first, gonna go back to my basics, orient to things that we know. There is my bladder, always flanked on both sides by the umbilical arteries. We also have ureters going into the bladder like so. So far this is just review. Haven't mentioned anything new. That's really okay. New structure. It goes kind of underneath the bladder, and it looks like a seat belt if you were to pull on the bladder. We call this the vas deferens, and it goes behind the bladder like so. So this is the vas deferens, also known as the ductus deferens. Okay, and this carries sperm from the testis, from the epididymis to be more specific, from testis, and it brings it to the urethra. So it doesn't go to the bladder, it goes to the urethra. Okay, so let's see here. Here is my left vas deferens, and we're actually gonna leave the body cavity. So this would be the body or the trunk, and it's going to descend into the scrotal region, the scrotum. And here we're gonna have our testis. There is a testis, and covering it on one part is the epididymis, and the vas deferens connects like so. So here would be the scrotal sac. This would be the pig's, left testis, and this would be the pig's left epididymis. Left epididymis. So this is how that is connected. All right, now for the same system, but now a different view. Again, going to start off with structures that I know. There is my bladder, always flanked on both sides by umbilical arteries, and connecting to the bladder from the kidneys are the ureters. So there would be my kidneys right there. Now we have our vas deferens that goes, behind, and it looks kind of like a seatbelt. So the vas deferens VD, and on the pig it looks kind of like a little seatbelt if you were to pull down the bladder. Okay, and like we said, this is a little bit convoluted, but this is going to pass the body cavity into the scrotal cavity. So this side would be the body, this side here would be the scrotum, and it's going to eventually connect to the testis by the epididymis like this. Okay, so there is my, my scrotal cavity. And this pathway that we've crossed, this little tunnel, this is called the inguinal canal. Inguinal canal. Okay. But we still haven't talked about the rest of the urinary part. So after the bladder, this is the urethra. Urethra. And then let me finish this over here. So again, here is my urinary bladder. Then I have the urethra. And this is kind of the internal tissue for the penis. So this is urethra. And towards the end, the tissue on the outside, this is what we can call the pig's penis. So you can say external would be the penis tissue, and the internal is the urethra. It's still the urethra. And this opening here, just like for the female, we call this the urogenital, UG. Call this the urogenital opening. Okay, now for an external view of the pig, we have, its legs like so. You have the scrotal sac, which females don't have. So here's our first, tells us that it's not a female. You have its trunk, its body cavity. You might see some bulging of tissue. There'll definitely be a little opening. So this here would be the penis and urethra. Penis on the outside, and then you have the urethra on the inside. And this here, this would be your urogenital opening. But that's it for the urogenital system.